5 Rock and Roll Muses. They say behind every great man is a woman. This has certainly been true in the case of many musicians, especially rock musicians. Following are some of the greatest women of rock and roll history, not performers, but the women who inspired the songs we all know and love. Here are the top 5 rock and roll muses. Number 5. At 5 is Courtney Love. Whether you adore or loathe Courtney Love, it's impossible to deny the sheer force of the woman or the importance of her role as a grunge-era rock and roll muse. By her own admission, this talented singer and lyricist has made a point of getting together with rock stars that could help her to move into the upper rung of show business. One of her first celebrity rock and roll romances was with Julian Cope, the lead singer of the Teardrop Explodes. In time, her British lover turned against her, going so far as to take out a full-page ad in the New Musical Express, which decried her groupie, druggy ways. When Courtney met Kurt Cobain, she was already dating another up-and-coming musician, Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins. Courtney soon chose Kurt, and months later she became pregnant with their daughter Frances Bean. Kurt and Courtney married while she was expecting her first child. The controversial best-selling book Love and Death explores the idea that Courtney played a role in her husband's demise. Throughout her tumultuous love life, Courtney has also allegedly enjoyed liaisons with Evan Dando, Trent Reznor and Ryan Adams. Songs rumored to be inspired by this rock and roll muse are Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana, I'll Stick Around by Foo Fighters, Disarm by Smashing Pumpkins, and You Know You're Right by Nirvana. Number 4. Muse 4 is Linda Eastman. Linda Eastman was best known for her marriage to Beatle Paul McCartney. Linda was a professional photographer, one who caught rock stars in their element at the famed Fillmore East concert venue. According to many sources, Eastman was a bona fide groupie before meeting McCartney. She allegedly hooked up with many of the rock stars she photographed. In late spring of 1967, Linda Eastman met Paul in London. In 1969, while pregnant with their daughter Mary, Eastman married Paul McCartney in the Marylebone Registry Office. Linda had 3 more children in quick succession and then took up keyboards to become a member of Paul's new band, Wings. Linda, always a passionate advocate for vegetarianism and animal rights, was doomed to suffer from breast cancer and passed away at age 56. Songs inspired by Linda Eastman are No More Lonely Nights and Maybe I'm Amazed, both by Paul McCartney. Number 3. One of the most maligned but most popular at number 3 is Yoko Ono. Much maligned Yoko Ono is generally perceived as the woman who broke up the Beatles. Young Yoko Ono, while fitting the groupie stereotype in certain respects, was ultimately miles away from the British dollybirds that tended to orbit the Fab Four during that pivotal time period. In contrast to the usual parade of fresh-faced, interchangeable models, she offered an exotic mixture of assertiveness, ideas, and imagination. Before long, John Lennon moved away from his life with the Beatles and began to embrace a more offbeat musical reality. While many question Ono's talent, few question the strong bond that existed between John and Yoko. Yoko and John were both skewered in Albert Goldman's brutal and controversial tell-all unauthorized biography, The Lives of John Lennon. Songs rumored to be inspired by Yoko Ono are Woman by John Lennon and Get Back by the Beatles. Number 2. At number 2 is Marianne Faithfull. A 4-year relationship with Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger cemented Marianne Faithfull's status as a true rock and roll muse. Faithfull began a career as a folk singer during the early to mid-60s. Faithfull initially was quite calculating. She admitted to planning a romance with a member of the Stones, presumably to further her own career ambitions. In fact, she was rumored to have auditioned 3 members of the band before settling on Rick. At this point, she began to record with Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, and she enjoyed success with the single As Tears Go By, which Keith and Mick had written specially for her. By 1970, her relationship with Mick had dissolved, and she ended up strung out and homeless on the London streets until friends came to her rescue. Today, Marianne Faithfull is a respected recording artist. Her most notable album is Broken English. Songs inspired by Marianne Faithfull are Carrie Ann by the Hollies, Sister Morphine co-written by the Stones and Faithfull, Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones, and You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones again. Number 1. Topping the list of muses at number 1 is Patti Boyd. In the 60s, Patti Boyd was a young model with a soft girlish face, full pouty lips and wide innocent eyes. This tall, stunning British beauty met George Harrison when she was chosen to appear as an actress in the Beatles film A Hard Day's Night. While she turned down Harrison's advances during filming, she quickly eased out of an existing relationship and then began a torrid romance with the brooding dark-haired guitarist. Patti married George and then retired from her successful modeling career. Harrison penned the lovely Beatles song Something in Patti's honor. As George became more spiritual and eccentric, the marriage began to suffer. His rumored infidelities with many also did not help. Soon, beautiful Patti began to be comforted by Harrison's close pal, Eric Clapton, who begged her to leave her husband and start over with him. During this time period, Clapton wrote Layla about Patti. Patti did leave Harrison for Clapton, but Clapton did not make her happy for long. His drinking problem led to infidelities, rages, and according to Patti, physical abuse. Her marriage to Eric Clapton ended in 1989. Songs written about Patti Boyd are Something by the Beatles, Layla by Eric Clapton, and Wonderful Tonight, again by Eric Clapton.